Okay, we're suspending the regular meeting to go into the public hearing on zone change ZC-01-17.
That's a motion by Mr. Lytle at 7 to suspend the meeting at, what was that, doing about 7:03?
703, 701?
7:03. Do I have a second?
Second.
Now you made that first. Ms. Wallet? Mr. Lytle?
Yes.
Voting yes. Mr. Lytle?
Yes.
Ms. Wallet? Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Motion carried, okay. This is public hearing zone change being held July 19th, 2017 at 7:03. We apologize for the 3-minute delay. This is CZ-01-17. I don't know what's going to handle the change.
Well, I could just introduce this as, you know, we do have the current zone change for ZC-01-17. This is a zone change that was requested by Mr. Worsecroft and Mr. Gentile. We have MS Consultants as representing them in terms of the engineering areas. They're looking to rezone approximately 32 acres of a parcel that is currently zoned as State District. Their desire is to submit a request for a zone change for a planned unit development, which they're looking to propose 18 units on that PUD and the agreement itself, but with a separate issue of 3 additional lots out front that will be just a replat for that area, not directly affected by this. So I mean, with that, if the representatives want to come up, approach the board here, they can entertain any questions.
Well, do we have to do the 3 times, right?
Well, if they want to explain the project,
okay.
It's easier. Hey, you can run the meeting.
No, fine, that works for me.
Joe Leeson with MS Consultants, 333 East Federal Street, Youngstown, Ohio.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Joe Leeson.
Thank you.
We were representing Mr. Gentile and Mr. Worsecroft throughout the zone change process as well as the design aspect. And as Mr. Mota said, we're requesting to rezone the 32 acres. We are proceeding with the design of 18 fee simple lots that will be sold off as single family homes. And it's going to be a gated community that is the reason we're going for the zone change and to the RPUD. And I had asked Mr. Gentile, Mr. Worsecroft to attend with it as well, and Mr. Gentile is going to give you kind of a brief overview of his plan and kind of his timing. If you have any questions, specific to what his ideas are and things are for the development, he can answer those.
Hi, Anthony Gentile, 101 Forest Creek Drive, Struthers, Ohio. I don't know if you're familiar with the property, but when you get on there, there's a gate. It's going to be 3 times the width of it. We're going to have pillars going through until you come to a gate. And if we get the EPA approval, we're going to have 2 nice-sized retention ponds that will hold water. Will be lakes coming into the property once you get through the gate. Then you're going to start your 18 homes. And I just think it's be a great thing for the community. That land's been sitting there for years. I know I played there when I was young, and yesterday we had our meeting with down at the auditor's office. We moved everything back to Poland Township, Poland Schools, which was a great
They approved that for you?
Wow.
They approved it for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was
Nice.
something that, I went in there to buy a Corvette, and they tried to give me a cruise. And that's basically how I can tell it is. And now it's going forward. I've been fighting with the sanitary for years, and now we did all these different zone changes. And I feel that once we get these partial approved, we can start building there. And I think it's going to be phenomenal. And if you haven't seen the property, you go back there, it's unique. It's just, there's terrains. We're going to keep a lot of this natural. How we have this set up with the lots. The streams are going to stay the same. Eliminate a lot of trees being torn down because there is some gorgeous timber in there. And other than that, I'm excited.
Yeah, just to add, Mr. Gentile, those lots are going to be fee simple lots there, so there will be ownership with lots. All the design for the roadway would be to Mooney County specifications there in terms of road base width, longevity of the project in itself. Engineer will once again do watershed calculations to make sure that any type of water is being controlled there. The buffering will remain the same. They're required to have a buffering in there. They're going to leave a natural landscape, and I think with the discussion in terms of if there's any areas that need to be filled in with some trees and shrubs, they would take care of that there too as well.
All right, just a zoning question, and then even a kind of architect type question. Because I traditionally aren't big on zone changes, but usually the people are coming asking from an R1 to an R3. And then you get as diggers do whatever they want. Your PUD, you basically got to follow your rules that you've submitted in that plan. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Like you can't just all of a sudden say, hey, now we don't want to do this. Is that
Correct.
That's legally correct?
Correct.
That sound right?
Correct. Yeah, they're going to be governed by covenants that basically they're going to control them within themselves. It is going to be a gated community. They're in charge of all the maintenance of the property in itself. They still will be entitled to safety services in terms of the anything like that. But it's all going to be self-contained, so that could be a community in itself. So.
And Janetti spoke highly on the drainage. I called him. He was, very adamant that you guys did a good job with that. And the swim club was on board.
This has been a planned out thought for years. But the sanitary engineering department, and God bless them, but they dictated
Yes.
the way we got this set up, and that was our only option at the end. And even though from the beginning, I always wanted a gated community. And
He
they
spoke
allowed us
highly.
to run sewer lines from the back properties all the way back out to the road. It just
Completely going to force
It
main
wouldn't have
system.
been, it wouldn't have been feasible to anybody. So that's what we did.
Thank you.
These lots that are up front here, what are they? Are they a part of this?
They're part of the plan in terms of replat. They're cut out to certain areas. Those meet the state zoning with the frontage and with a 2-acre parcel. So there's 3 of them. They're going to combine it. And part of the process, they'll just replat them there and they'll be available.
Okay.
Just to let you know what I did when I saw these plans, that I had to educate myself on exactly what state zoning was and what exactly residential PUD was, so I did educate myself. I had a person call me with a concern, and I directed her to come to the meeting last Wednesday and ask all the questions you want to ask. I followed up on her call, and she seemed very satisfied. I actually grabbed your plans, and not that I had to, and I brought it to the fire district. I said, does anything jump out at you as scary or, unsafe for our residents, safety issues, concerns? And they told me their role in the project was when the street was cut, they do fire hydrant placement and make sure that the cul-de-sac is big enough for any safety vehicle to make one continuous motion around the cul-de-sac, not having to back up and all that stuff. So that's what I did to educate myself and to make a educated decision.
Okay, with that, for those of you who've never been to a zone change meeting before, I'm going to ask 3 times, both sides, those who are for the proposal and those who are against it. So you can just come up at any time that I ask this question, and after the 3rd time, then we'll make our votes. So at this time, I will ask for the first time, those who are in favor of zone change 01-17, please come forward and be heard. If you're in favor of it.
I don't know enough to be in favor or not in favor, actually. I just have a couple of questions. May I speak now, or do I need to wait? Because I would be in favor. I'm leaning towards in favor.
Go ahead, come on up, say you're in favor of it.
My name is Barbara Murray, and I live at 5875 Klingon Road. Now I'm across the street from the entrance to where Anthony's talking about. And I know that it was plotted for 5 estate lots. A few years ago we came to the meeting, and then they broadened it to 10. Are there still going to be estate lots there? I'm not real sure how the plan is. You had 18, did I understand correctly, is it 18 single-family units?
I have it here if you want to
18
show
lots
it to me.
within the PUD itself, but there's 3 additional lots out front.
Okay.
That's, will be the estate district.
And the other question.
That was, remember I just asked the question, what were those? And that's exactly what he was referring to. Those are the
Right.
ones right on Klingon
And I just
Road.
wanted to make sure I
I
understood.
can show you this plan here. So these 3 lots along Klingon Road will remain zoned estate.
Okay, gotcha.
They will be parceled off of the whole piece of property, and then the entranceway will come back to the 18 fee simple lots that will be part of the RPUD.
Okay, I visualize that, I can see it now. Thank you. And so that buffer zone will stay the same on these 3 lots? Or before there wasn't going to be any, well, let's put it this way, they couldn't build anything within 75 feet of the road back on this lot. Is that changing?
That was setback. The setbacks will be consistent with the estate zoning. So it's,
Okay.
That's not gonna change.
I don't have a problem with that if there's a driver. It's just a very treacherous bend right there. And they have a better view of it than on our side. Okay, and I just my question, the sanitary, is that gonna stay the same as the last time we discussed that Marcia or whatever?
Yeah, I paid $18,000 to run the sanitary up towards the swim club, which basically you can tap into it at no charge other than whatever the county will charge you for a tap fee.
Okay,
So-
I just didn't know if that was changing at all. I got that impression when you were speaking that wasn't changing. So that buffer's gonna be left the same. Now, the school zoning, that I wasn't aware of. Is that just that north side of that street, or is that my side also?
North.
Not on our
It
side?
was pulling, then they pulled a fast one on Cosmo, and then now you're saying you feel pretty good.
We had our meeting yesterday and there was a hearing and it never even started.
My understanding was there was a hearing that took place, and it was granted back to Paul, or where it always should have been.
Correct.
So what's, on my side of the road, it's still Strucker Schools District?
Yeah, how it ran in the map, you guys have the map. It ran across the lake to Klingon Road and up. When he bought this property in 1970, what year did he buy the property? 81. 81. When he bought it, he wanted to buy everything. Poland Schools, Poland Township.
Right.
Because he would have bought down to our development, but the Struthers.
Right, I understand. And then at that time, on my side of the road, which would be the south side of Klingon Road, or the east side.
That's correct.
Brothers School District.
Yeah, right, because that's what always was on my tax. And that's staying the same. I was just curious about that. I wanted to make sure I understood that correctly. Okay,
You can probably
so,
check with the, what was it, the auditor's office?
Yes.
You can check with the auditor's office, they can probably let you know for sure.
okay.
We don't have that back.
And that was my concern. I saw the map and that makes more sense. My husband couldn't be here, so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I'm in favor of it.
Okay. I will ask for the second time. Those who are in favor of the zone change, please come forward and be heard. And I will now ask for the third and final time for those who are in favor of the zone change, please come forward and be heard. Now I'll ask for the first time, those who are opposed to the zone change, please come forward and be heard. I'll ask for the second time, those who are opposed to the zone change, please come forward and be heard. And I ask for the third and final time, those who are opposed to the zone change, please come forward and be heard. All those who have been asked to come forward in support and or opposition of it have been heard. And with that, I turn to the board for any discussion.
Comfortable with PUD. I don't like R1s to R3s and things like that. So I feel a lot better.
Swallow.
I'm fine.
Mr. Gentile, anything you'd like to add?
Just basically, my plans are to move up the street.
Okay.
And, I'm going to be on the committee. I'm going to protect my interests, which is the whole property,
Right, and of course, I'm sorry.
the entire property.
And of course, our responsibility here is to look out for the township as a whole, and knowing full well that you've gone before the Mahoney County Planning Commission, the resource committee that went along with that, working in concert with Mr. Genetti's office and all the other utilities that are part of this. Also, for the good resolution of our schools that were very concerned about this. You know, they came to us some months ago and asked us to kind of get involved, and we got involved to whatever extent. And very gratifying to hear that, you know, that's going to be a part of the Poland School District. So with that, I will make a motion that we approve the rezoning in ZC-01-17.
There's a motion on the floor to approve zone change ZC 0117, made by Chairman Lytle. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been seconded by Ms. Wallach. Is there any questions on the vote?
Feel bad for Perone.
Does that go in? Okay. A motion on the floor for ZC 0117. It'll be taking effect within, takes effect within 30 days. Roll call vote. Mr. Lytle.
Yes.
Ms. Wallach.
Yes.
Mr. Andre.
Yes.
Motion carries.